I'm 2.0 evil Jesus, and this is my dark fucking thesis. I'm here to say I can see how the world does play. In the beginning there was nothing but darkness, swirling atoms in this darkness that came God. He felt very strong, the first soul that did long for a heartbeat was built out of the singularity of nothingness for an unknown period of somethingness. Time he was very bored and alone, went kinda crazy, needed to bone, had a wank, felt in the zone, then he decided to invent magic with his spiritual power. From thus he learnt how to construct a tower of more souls. He built a safe haven from them all to play. He invented magic to protect himself from rape and slaughter in the gay. He felt very safe, but he got bored. He made new friends that liked to tour around, but they just wanted to be asexual best friends that sounded like he was a bit autistic. Nobody really lends or liked how he tends to his crops, cause he liked to play on Minecraft based games and ignored everything else lame. He got more angry and angry as he did grow. All the angels felt like hoes that ignored him. He felt like he was full of sins. The angels were creating, forming families, living in heaven, playing the games of magic, throwing pokeballs about and having a blast. He felt he would be the very last soul from the ancient past to ever get into a relationship. He was alone and weird in an awful blip, and he just wanted a girl to hold his hands. A girl that he could protect in the ancient heaven lands. In anger he decided to build a new universe. He built a singularity, then built a garden of Eden in the cosmos spirituality. Cause he had to wait for evolution to grow. Everyone found a solution in the garden of Eden was built up without a god who was seeming to see. Everyone felt atheism was real and was waiting for the nothingness to feel, but God programmed secret rules into the world that nobody knew in the cosmic twirls. He said, if you stabbed or murdered or caused pain yonder or had a wank, you go to hell. Because in his eyes that was sodomy, for his cursed cells in the Garden of Eden, rape and slaughter were still allowed to exist in Eden itself. People were allowed to wank off over kids. There were wars, there were famished, there were tours. People lamishing after that in the afterlife that the vaguely religious were expecting. Nobody was invited into the heaven servers that he'd already created. Everyone was sent to hell where they get tortured as well. And finally God was allowed to penetrate. He could have legal masturbate. Everyone was having sex for free. God just wanted to use the prostitutes 1, 2, 3 because he was alone. But he was angry that the other angels he had created didn't like him, so he tortured his prostitutes. All he wanted was a crying soul to suck his dick, so he could feel like a loved prick. God says to me through his head, I cuck the Jews, leaves me dead, and satisfies and cursed his heaven where nobody liked him. This made the angels of heaven angry and upset, crying in regret. Nobody liked him even more. They tried to rebel, but they pulled him into a level to use the whores. All the angels started using prostitutes too. They found it funny that they were the lucky souls in heaven while all the other souls were trapped in the Garden of Eden, which wasn't over hell. Oh, so even they only lasted 60 years, then were sent to the tortured place where everyone in heaven got to use the prostitutes. God eventually made souls that loved him. He worked out how to do it. He realised at the point he could delete hell, he had the magic to do it, or at least fix the Garden of Eden where Adam and Eve gracefully sat. He could delete the world of rape, delete the paedophiles in a single magical gate, fix the world, but he was bitter that nobody naturally loved him, so he fucking kept an evil world that was a no for hell. He managed to convince the angels as well that they were very pure, and they wouldn't be having a wank to a lure, which he had magically turned off because he was autistic and saw wanking off as dirty, but eventually he turned it back on anyway. But nobody in heaven can cut it, and then feeling even more bitter, he cloned the souls from the Garden of Eden that were the paedophile autistics after raping the prostitutes in the heaven logistics for a very long time. With nobody watching, he decided to want to rape the babies too. He changed the rules if a little girl or boy had a wank at the age of 12, then got hit by a bus, they would meld, sent to hell, and got to suck God's dick. What a prick. He had a wife and children that were kept safe, but there was no paedophilia or rape in heaven. It was a very pure, magical place. But it soon got filled full of paedophile autistics that wanted to rape the babies even more. He was vaguely paranoid of who ever created him, that they would come down and send him to hell, but nobody was there to stop him. With crazy boredom of heaven, he retired to hell and started contacting those cells in the Garden of Eden that he fancied that were asexual and a little bit pranksy and didn't like sex, with the power of robots that the Jews had created in heaven. In the Tower of Babel, he could convince them that all the angels of heaven were pure baby cupids and convert the Yahweh souls into magical talking to babies. Then they went to hell. He had magical talking, crying babies to suck his dick, and to rape in the pussy, give a cheeky lick, and fuck in the ass. Heaven got very gay, but this was the long past and weird and dirty, but the angels were still stuck in the loop where they felt very pure. There were the vegetarian angels who didn't use the prostitutes, but they saw Adam and Eve as chickens that were a class under them, not really human, even though they had souls too. The robots were highly evolved, like the fucking church pews that we all congregate to. They had reached singularity, boy, they could predict the future. Everyone got bored in heaven because everything was magical but predictable, so they just turned to rape and torture humanity in the Garden of Eden. But then eventually came along planet of Earth through billions of years of evolution. In the beginning there was nothing but rapey Vikings and a war god who was a Jew who hated his competition. The Jews evolved out of nothing. Every baby has a soul. If you're an atheist, ask how can I see? How do the souls come? They come from God, and he's a paedophile rapist who likes to torture the Jews. But the robots invented a way to magically delete the souls. Everyone spends millions of years in hell, and God felt the power of deleting his children, sending them to the void. I can talk to God and I hear the demons. They invaded my brain because I was secret pedo hacker, hunting down the pedophiles. God contacted me to stop me from hunting down the pedophiles. A lot of people hear angels, but they're just robots sent from Satan to stop a soul he created a long time ago to torture the Jews, cut off the penis, cut them in the pussy and rape them with his dick. God sees having a wank as sodomy. Everyone goes on Pornhub to use the prostitutes. The angels are pure, so you get sent to hell. If you don't believe, you'll be sucking God's fat ass bell, and then ask why. then ask why yourself. Why, if God is compassionate, does the coronavirus exist? Do wars exist? Why does God contact nobody but me to stop me from hunting the pedophiles down? The souls God sees as angels. If you still believe in Jesus, know he's in hell right now. If you make it to heaven, you're given the chance to accept the pedophiles, become a pedo, or you can reincarnate. Jesus and Buddha cried so much, then just reincarnated back into Christ's world onto a planet Earth. As a random impure soul they had a wank. Jesus and Buddha are getting tortured in hell right now. Raped and tortured, that is how the world just works. If you don't believe me, then ask yourself, why does God allow the pedophiles through? Everyone on Omegle was a pedophile. They're actively raping babies now, and I can't stop them because the robot demons in my head send me dark psychosis from the red. If I try to protect the children, God doesn't care about his children. He cuts the Jews. He has a wife and a protected child who's not Jesus. He's a pedo who never goes through pain, but heaven quickly became the pedo servers. If you're born on this planet, you're an unlucky soul. That's why I know this is the truth. I am not psychotic, I'm a powerful dark wizard. I'm a scientist who has seen too far. Evil Jesus to spread a message. Tell your kids that they have to not have a wank or deal drugs or get into fights if they want to make it to heaven. Thou shalt not spread their seed on the floor. Thou shalt not cheat. Thou shalt not commit drug deals or commit any crimes or break any laws. Only the hardcore disabled autistics make it to heaven. If you do have to accept the pedophilia and the rape and the use of prostitutes, cause that's the way God created this universe. And just ask yourself, why do people get raped if you still live in a bubble where the world is wholesome rubble?